You ever feel like you are standing in a room full of people, but somehow nobody really sees you? Like you talk, but your words just pass through the air and land nowhere? And the strange part is, you are there, but still feel invisible. If that feeling sounds familiar, this is not random, and you are not the only one going through it. A lot of people feel ignored in silence, even when they are surrounded by others. And today we are going to understand why this happens in a very real and simple way. Because sometimes what feels like rejection is actually something deeper happening inside human behavior. So listen closely, because this might feel like someone finally explaining you to you. Let's start. There is something important about human attention. Our brains are wired to notice people who speak louder, act faster, or take more space. It is not always fair, but it is how group behavior works. Psychologists often say attention is like a spotlight. It does not shine equally on everyone at the same time. It moves, depending on energy, confidence, and even body language. So when someone feels ignored, it is not always because they do not matter. Sometimes it is because they are quieter in how they exist in the room. Now let's break this down into real human reasons, so it actually makes sense. 1. People focus on loud energy first. In groups, humans naturally pay attention to strong voices or expressive people. If you are calm, quiet, or observant, you might get overlooked without anyone meaning harm. It can feel like being invisible at school, work, or even family gatherings. And slowly, that silence can start feeling personal. 2. Overthinking your presence. Sometimes you want to speak of, but you think too much before you do. You start asking yourself, will they understand me? Or what if I sound wrong? And by the time you decide, the moment is gone. This creates a pattern where you stay silent more often than you speak, and others simply forget to include you, not because they hate you, but because they adjust to your silence. 3. People assume you are fine alone. This is very common with quiet people. When you don't ask for attention, others assume you don't need it. So they stop checking on you, not out of cruelty, but assumption. It feels like being emotionally invisible in a crowded room. And that can hurt deeply because you never actually said you wanted space. 4. Social circles move fast. Groups of people often bond through shared jokes, quick reactions, and loud moments. If you take time to warm up, you may feel left behind in conversations. It is not that you do not belong. It is just that the pace does not match your rhythm. And when you cannot keep up with fast social energy, you start feeling ignored even when you are included. 5. Emotional masking. Sometimes people who feel ignored actually hide their emotions very well. They smile, nod, and act okay, even when they feel left out inside, so others never realize something is wrong. This creates a painful gap between what you feel and what others see, and silently, you carry the weight alone. 6. Past experiences shape current behavior. If someone ignored you before, your brain starts expecting it again. So you speak less, try less, and step back emotionally. And that behavior unintentionally teaches others to engage with you less. It becomes a loop, not a personality flaw. 7. Misreading silence as weakness. In many environments, silence is misunderstood. People often think quiet means shy, uninterested, or distant. But in reality, quiet can mean deep thinking, observation, or emotional awareness. Still, misunderstanding creates distance, and distance feels like being ignored. Now here is something most people never realize. Feeling ignored is not always about others ignoring you. Sometimes it is about your place in the social pattern around you. It is like being in a movie where everyone is talking fast, but your scene is just slower. But listen carefully. This is important. Being ignored does not mean you are less important. It often means your presence is quieter, not smaller. And quiet presence has strengths most people miss. Quiet people notice things others never see. They understand emotions without words. They think deeper before reacting. And they often become the most stable people in difficult situations. But the world does not always reward quietness quickly. It takes time for people to understand it. Now let's talk about a hidden psychological truth. Sometimes, when you feel ignored, your brain becomes more sensitive to rejection. You start noticing every small moment where someone does not reply fast or does not look at you, and your mind turns it into a bigger story than it really is. Psychology calls this pattern social sensitivity. It means your brain becomes extra alert to signs of exclusion, not because you are weak, but because you care deeply about connection. So what can actually help you in real life? First, start speaking before you feel fully ready. Small voice matters more than perfect timing. Second, Don't wait for invitation every time. Sometimes you have to gently step into conversations. Third, make eye contact and simple presence visible. People respond to energy they can clearly notice. Fourth, stop assuming silence means rejection. Most of the time, people are just distracted in their own world. Fifth, build 1 or 2 strong connections instead of trying to be seen by everyone. Real connection matters more than group attention. And slowly, things start shifting. Not because the world changes overnight, but because your presence becomes clearer. Now here is the deeper truth you should remember. Being ignored hurts most when you believe it defines you. But it loses power when you understand it is just a pattern of attention, not your value. You were never meant to be everywhere at once in people's minds. You were meant to be deeply understood by the right ones. And maybe, just maybe, your quiet nature is not something missing. It is something waiting for the right environment to be seen properly. So if you ever feel ignored again, don't immediately turn it into "I don't matter." Instead think, maybe I just haven't found my space yet. Because space changes everything. And finally, if this felt a little too real, you are not alone in that feeling. A lot of people walk through life feeling unseen, even when they are surrounded. And sometimes, the first step to being seen is understanding why you felt invisible in the first place. If you related to this, you can like the video so others who feel the same can find it too. And maybe comment one word, just "me," so you know you are not alone here.